Welcome to Dungeon Mastering is Easy, the show that shows that anyone can be a dungeon master. Hello, my name is Vahid Qualls. I'm the host of the show. And today we are joined by Kelly from Dork Tales. Kelly is an internationally loved and respected dungeon master with a theatrical presence, a big presence. Not only is he a talented dungeon master in his own right, but he is the head of the Dork Tales Twitch channel. And he has encouraged and mentored a team of other dungeon masters that dungeon master on his channel. He's got a unique set of skills that I'm sure we're all going to learn a lot from. Thank you so much for joining us, Kelly. Great to have you with us.
Hey, great to be here. Anytime.
And today, Kelly is going to be sharing with us some tips on designing non-playing characters that the players will never forget.
I'll do my best.
What do you think? What are some of the most important things that you've learned about this?
What you want to, over time, what I have learned is that the best way to make an NPC that really fits into the world is to have the player do a lot of the work for you, especially if it's something tied to their character. If, for example, somebody has a relationship with a sibling or a family member, it's really important to get their input and to use that to kind of build what the character is like. But also, one of the things I do at my table, and I'm a movie fanatic. I'm a media junkie. So a lot of times, when I have a character show up, I will just stop the game for a second and say, "Hey guys, if I was a Death Knight on a rampage, what would I sound like? Who would you cast as this?"
Who would you
and
cast?
Inevitably, someone will inevitably say Christopher Walken, and so then I'll have to pull out a Christopher. You don't have to do voices to be a DM. I love doing voices. And I think it's a lot of fun, but just like that type of atmosphere and even using some type of shorthand, like, yeah, this knight walks into the room and, oh man, he just looks just like Keanu Reeves. You immediately know what this guy's about, especially if you say what era of Keanu Reeves. If you're like, he looks like John Wick Keanu Reeves versus like
Bill and
Ted Theodore Logan. Yeah, right. Keanu Reeves, way different Keanus, but they really sum it up. And then you're like, whoa, forsooth, it is I, Sir Tedric, here to help you, my dudes, right? And it immediately gives some people something to latch onto and something that they can really enjoy. Besides that, if you're not the type of person to draw from media everybody is really, but if you're not going to steal like I do, I would say find something human, even if they're not human, find a core personality trait for every NPC, even if it's a shopkeeper. Maybe find either a personality trait or a touchstone experience, such as they're not supposed to be here today. Something that may be in line with what they're doing or something that may be completely incongruent. Like a shopkeeper, you can have like a greedy shopkeeper. That's all over the place, but the shopkeeper who's tending his brother's stall because his brother's got the flu and he just wants the day over, or a guard captain who just went on his bachelor party the night before and got called in and is just so hungover and just wants to go to sleep because his wedding's tomorrow. Anything that you can do to add a little bit of flavor and a little bit of background story to the world, your players are really going to dig that.
Cool. Love it. Let's talk. Look, you've given us three in just a handful of minutes. You've given us three pieces of gold. So let's just, if you don't mind, dive deeper into them a little bit more. Dive deeper into the gold. How does that even work on a physics level?
Ask Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah. He's doing it all the time. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the players doing some of the work, or a lot of the work, especially for like a main non-playing character. We're talking about NPCs that will become like recurring, integral characters for your story, for your world. And you talk about the non-playing character having a pre-established connection with the player, like a relative or a romantic interest or a school buddy or something like that.
Something like that.
Let's dig into
So
that a little bit more.
Yeah, totally. In games that I've ran before, whenever I have a mentor figure or a character who's kind of like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of a group, anything like that, if it's for multiple people, for example, in our Dragonlance campaign that we ran on Dork Tales, we had a central figure named Ispin Greenshield, who you, at the beginning of the adventure, you're going to his funeral. But that's a really stale situation if you have no emotional connection to it. So what I asked everybody is, I want everybody here to tell me think up one story. It doesn't have to be in depth. It can be one sentence. I don't care. One time you went out drinking and lost your wallet. I want to hear one story independent from everyone else that you have with this person. And I want you to tell me one thing about him that you don't think anybody else knows. For example, that he always saved a bit of his food to donate to people in need. Or maybe he kept love letters from a horrible breakup in his teenage years that he just has never gotten rid of. Something like that. It can be anything. But that way, when you ask players to submit this type of information, then they have a personal stake in things. And then they feel like they know this character and they had a hand in painting who that person is in your world. And that buy-in is gold. If you get your players to do that, oh man. For one, it's easier on you because you don't have to do as much work. You're doing enough. But if you can get your players to help you build the world a little bit and to do it in a way where they feel like they own a corner of it, they're going to be so much more excited to play in it.
You know, one of the things that any of us that have studied storytelling or drama or anything like that know that the heart of story is character. And so if we can have our players helping to create those characters, fleshing them out, they have a much higher emotional connection with them. I'd like to move on to the next one, which is this handy instant trick. You said turn to the players and ask them, who should this character be acted by or played by? Mm-hmm. I love that. And like to dig down a bit more into that and the value and your experience around that. Before we hear Kelly's other pieces of gold, we want to tell you about the You Need More Orcs book that Dice Legenz is making. It's 100 plus pages of orky goodness, at the heart of which is 60 original fun and frightening orc stat blocks of different difficulty levels, perfect for any story. But there's so much more than that. There are chapters on social structures, cultural practices, building orc fortifications, glossary of orc sayings, name generators, and so much more. Head to our Kickstarter page now. The link is in the video and podcast description. Be one of the backers in the first 48 hours to get extra perks, because you know what? You need more orcs.
So, in my experience, it's led to some really interesting things. I keep thinking back to this Dragonlance campaign because that's where I did it a bunch of times with great success. One, there's like a little squire character who shows up, and that's Keanu Reeves. Like, I point blank was like, who is this guy? And I showed him the photo in the book, and they're like, that's Keanu Reeves. Like, that looks like Bill, or pardon me, it looks like Ted. And I'm like, all right, he's Keanu Reeves. And oh my God, they fell in love with him just because he was so good natured and like, oh, yeah, I'm totally here to help you. Right. But then later on, they're buying from a wizard's shop. And I'm like, okay, who's this wizard? His name's Lavender. They're like, oh, Christopher Walken. Like that was literally the Christopher Walken. And then, so like, you could totally have him coming off like this, like a very Dumbledore type of like, hello there, Harry Potter. Would you like to see my wares? But instead, he was like walking up and be like, so I've got magic potions of all shapes and sizes. Would you like to purchase them? I also have magic cowbell. You know, and like it changed the entire encounter. And people like, oh God, my players milked it. They wouldn't like stop talking to him for like an hour and a half. And I'm like, this is funny, but I don't know how long we can keep this going. Apparently a long time.
Yeah.
I would say if you're doing this though, make sure it's someone whose voice you can do if you're doing a voice. I once decided that a character had a German accent and I was like, oh, he's a one-off. Like he's just going to have like a light German accent like this, you know, not a big deal, just a little bit. He was in like 12 hours of a season of a show. And by the end, I was like, I can't do this. It's turning my mouth into mush. So be careful. Be careful what you pick.
Careful
or just be
what you wish for, because you just might Get it.
Get it. Yeah, it's never wrong to pick Arnold Schwarzenegger as a character voice, though. Just going to put that out there.
Yeah, it never goes. Yeah, and it's interesting that you say this. It's like you and I are doing the same thing, but didn't realize it. I didn't know that you had this thing. For a villain in a recent campaign that I've had going on, his character was described as Henry Cavill.
Ooh,
and all of a sudden, they
villain.
were suddenly far more attracted to the villain than they ever were before.
That we have a guy in ours who's described as Henry Cavill is such a nice shorthand for like, is he which Cavill? We Superman Cavill? Dirty Cavill?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dirty Cavill's the one we like. Filthy Cavill.
With that blonde wig and that square jaw and a bit too much stubble.
Wild.
All right.
Wild, man.
Now the third piece of gold that you mentioned that let's just dig into a little bit more is finding a single human experience personality trait. So this isn't necessarily like they're angry, they're flirtatious. This is something different than I've heard before.
I think that's a little more useful than just picking an emotional center for the character, right? Because if you go in with an NPC and you say, yes, it's a disgruntled shopkeeper. Well, okay, he's disgruntled, but then why? You're doing all that extra work. Maybe you never open this character up because you're just playing him as disgruntled. But if you go in with like a motivation, like he's disgruntled because he's not supposed to be there today. He has worked 14 days in a row and he's just tired. He's getting paid like minimum wage in copper. And honestly, he doesn't want to be there. And he's thinking of quitting even, right?
Yeah.
He's got a better, maybe the magic supermarket across the street will pay better. But then inside of that motivation, you have all of these other motivations as well as you get that emotion, but you also get ways that the players can play off of that. So rather than the emotion by itself can be kind of like a stone wall because you're like, he's okay, I can't move him off of this because the entire character is being frustrated. Whereas if he's frustrated for a reason going in, then one of the players can be like, yeah, oh man, that really sucks. Obviously, you look like you had a rough night. Can I get you do you want like a drink off the shelf or something? Do you need help? They can also, honestly, like rogues could probably find a way to shoplift a little easier off of someone like that. They could try to corrupt them. There are so many ways that you can play around with motivation over emotion.
Yeah.
And it informs all these other choices. And it'll help you roleplay that easier because odds are you've been in a situation like that yourself. So rather than just going into an emotion like frustration, you're going into this nuanced experience of just being at a minimum wage retail job.
It's an interesting phrase that you've just shared, and I think this kind of highlights your theatrical background. Motivation over emotion. That's what you said.
Yes.
And that's a really interesting thing that I think that people like yourself that have an experience with performance probably understand at a deeper level than others, such as myself, who don't come from that, can see. Because we hear all the time that actors talk about what's the motivation from my character. So that's a really interesting point for a dungeon master to consider, that if we figure out what's motivating the character, then actually that comes with a package of emotions and other life circumstances that you can draw on in an instant.
Absolutely. And it sounds way more hoity-toity than it is, right? Like, oh, what's my motivation? No, it's literally like, why am I here? Like, why is this character here? It's not what are they feeling? It's why are they here? Like, what are they doing? And if you're not the type of person who is particularly introspective, that's fine. You could also look at it from like outside the story, kind of a metatextual way, and think, okay, I don't really know why this guy's here, but I know what role he's fulfilling. He needs to be the bouncer outside of the nightclub that doesn't let the players in. This character needs to be there to serve a function and needs to be able to provide a marginal level of obstacle or conflict. And from there, you can start to piece out like what would make it more fun for the situation. And in that case, just listen to your players, like listen to what they want out of the scene. Because if a player is like, I'm going to try to pick his pocket, and you're like, okay, obviously the player wants to pick his pocket. So like, what would be fun in that situation?
Yeah.
Try to think about it like a TV show. Like, what would be really fun for someone to watch?
Yeah.
And if it'd be fun to watch, usually it'd be fun to play.
Yeah, that's another great little phrase. Thank you. Even when as you're saying it, sprang into my mind. One of the classic like first level adventures that people often go on is protecting a stagecoach or protecting a thing like that. Well, what if the person who's in charge of the caravan, instead of them being greedy and tight-fisted, what if their motivation is simply that their family is on the edge of poverty?
Yeah.
If this cart does not fetch a decent price, then their family faces deprivation. All of a sudden, now you got a character with some depth, with just that single motivation.
And depending on your depending on your party, you can actually have a lot of fun with that. Initially presenting them one way and then peeling back the onion throughout the trip.
Totally.
You know?
Like they're stingy. They're not giving. They've bought poor quality food. They're trying to skim whatever they can. Yeah.
And if you do something like that, look for ways to hint at it that are, for one, potentially insidious. For example, if the food is bad, maybe he doesn't eat. It's not because the food's bad, though. Maybe the players will think, oh, he's trying to poison us or he's trying to... But in reality, there's only so much food. And if he skips a couple meals, he'll save money.
Yeah.
And he can feed you guys better because you are the guards and he needs you fed better than him.
Yeah. Isn't it fascinating? I think this is really helpful information. So with those 3 gems that you've shared with us, like for getting the players to do the work for you, to encourage the players to give suggestions of someone in the media world that could be acting this character out is the second one. Yep. Super fun idea. And the third one is that motivation over emotion, that finding a common human experience to be the core of a non-playing character are 3 incredibly effective ways of creating non-playing characters that people will remember. The other thing that I'd like to do before we kind of wrap up this is that we have a regular segment on this show.
Okay. All right.
Which we call Accent on Accents. And we've been talking about voices.
Yep. Okay.
All right. And so here's what I want to do. Do you have some kind of reading material? Any reading material close by?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I've got a new copy of Faster Purple Worm. Everybody Dies that just came in the mail. So let's do it.
Okay. I've got a monster manual. I'm going to randomly open Performers.
Really?
This is one of my favorite things about the new monster manual. Orcs are not present. Drow are not present, but performers are.
Yeah, they're the real danger. They're the real danger.
Okay, so, do you want a random accent, or do you want me to... Yeah, I'm going to just give you a random accent.
Give me a random accent. Let's do this.
So, hey, the reason we're doing this, guys, is that, as Kelly said, you don't have to do voices. You don't have to do accents to be a dungeon master, but you can if you want. And... here we go. Kelly, give me a number from 1 to 15.
Number 12.
12. Oh, you got an easy one. That's too easy.
Okay.
I don't like.
All right, 13.
13, better. South African.
Oh, no, I can't. I can't. That's the one accent I can't.
Yes.
Oh, God. Oh, God. How does that even sound? I got to go watch District 9. I'll be back.
What a movie.
It's a great movie. It's a
great movie. Okay, you ready? A paragraph for us. Go.
God. Oh, God. Long before the first... Oh, God, how does it even sound? Oh, God. Okay, hold on.
South African.
South African. Yeah, it's part British, part like Dutch. It's so weird. Oh, God, it's such a weird accent. I took a cognitive psychology class from a South African guy. I didn't understand a word of it. He was like, "This is a picture of the brain." And I'm like, I guess.
Okay. 3 sentences. Okay. That's all we need. Come on, Kelly.
Oh, God.
Dig deep.
All right. Okay. Dig deep. Long before the fur. You do it again. Do it for me. Give me a sentence.
South African.
South African. All right.
I can't do it either, mate.
I'm coming out Jamaican, but I'm going to do it anyway. Long before the first elven city, or the forging of the axe of the dwarven lords, even before the cataclysm that sank the sinking island, the giants say that the kingdom spread across the lands. One of the ancient giants was Ogmoth Kongnigstal, a storm giant of prodigious might and magical knowledge. As great as her power was, stronger still was her love that she had for her wife, Galena. I feel like I was getting into it toward the end, or it was a little... I could have just done Morgan Freeman. That would have been so great.
Yeah, okay, hit me with an
Long
accent.
before the first.
Give me something. Give me something.
Give you something?
I'm not very good with accents. Or you can just give me a random one.
I'm going to say Deep South.
Deep South?
No, deep, like Bayou. Bayou. I'm talking like Gambit.
Yeah, from the royal courts to village circles. Skilled entertainers hone their talents and delight audiences. Some travel far, sharing tales and demonstrating mysterious arts. Others serve the courts and theaters of great nations, cultivating celebrity and navigating with the whims of patrons.
That was way better than mine.
You had a really hard one. I can't do South African to save myself, not to kill myself. We're not.
You could do it to kill me.
Yeah, oh man, that was really hard. Hey, it's been such a fun time hanging out with you, Kelly. Please share where people can connect with you.
Folks, if you like tabletop role-playing games, you like actual plays, and you like learning about weird fantasy worlds outside of Dice Legenz, you need to come and spend time with Dork Tales. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we are on podcast, and if you like what we do there, come and visit. We have a great Discord as well, and if you search my name, you might find me on some random, like, fan dub and anime productions on YouTube, but that's all I'm going to say there. You go have fun finding me. I do weird voice acting on the side, but I'd love to see you on Dork Tales.
Kelly, it's been a real joy hanging out with you. Thanks so much for joining us.
It's great being here.
And if you want to support the Dice Legenz channel, one of the best ways you can do it is to become a Patreon. Head to patreon.com/DiceLegenz. The link is in the description of the podcast or video, depending upon how you're consuming this. And you can become a follower for free. It doesn't cost you a cent. Or there are 3 simple tiers of ways that you can support our show. Thank you to all our Patreons. We really appreciate your support. All right, guys, we'll catch you next time. See you later.